Right, I think this is working now. I'm hoping at least. I think it is. Cool. Cool, I can record this as well, which is sick. Right. I am trying to go live on YouTube. I haven't done loads of stuff on YouTube, so I'm trying to do as much as possible. I am live. Awesome. Stuart here for Bitcoin signals, I heard. Big Red Bulls and such. Cool. Right. Sweet. So I'm gonna do a breakdown of last week because I realised I didn't go live on Friday. I've been attacked by my dog today. I went to my mum's house obviously with for Father's Day. Dad wasn't even in, but yes, felt as though I've gotten really bad allergies. But yeah, it's what it is. You've had a good birthday. But yeah, let's get into the session. I don't know if it's recording. Can it record while streaming as well? I believe it can. Cool. So let's start off just with overall direction on DXY. I know that a lot of you guys will probably have quite a good feeling now that the draw's been hit, or feel like that was a good thing that we target for a little while. So I know a lot of you guys were trading in the chat and you were looking for this IRL to play out, which it has done now. And obviously what we do from the IRL is kind of up to you, to a degree up to you for what you want to trade. You know obviously how I will generally do the analysis. I'll look and see, well, if there's a percentage chance of this happening, this is where I'd like price to react to, this is what I want to see, etc, etc. Now, I've got something relatively clear in mind that I'd want to see more than anything, I think. That being said, I do have a few different things that I'm interested in. So, obviously generally when you hit ERL, especially when you don't close past it, you're expecting IRL then to be hit again potentially. Obviously we close this fair value gap, came into this new week opening, I've got a decent reaction from here as well. You could easily look higher, so on the daily you could look for price to come into this fair value gap a little bit more so, because we only only just about retested the fair value gap, so wouldn't be a weird thing for price to come and retest at least this area. So if you're maybe wanting a bearish week, you may want price to come up high initially, start of week, work into this IRL, and then play towards the ERL again. So your target would then be these lows, these equal lows, which do look like quite obvious targets. Equally, you could get the opposite of that, so price could just break past these lows. Now this is probably the less favourable thing if you're looking for like a midweek reversal. I have to check the news quickly. So you've got, I think you guys said there was quite a lot of news. You've got not much on Monday. Sales, inflation rate, okay. Inflation rate Tuesday, FMC, Wednesday, interest rate, okay, we got quite a bit. Midweek mainly, and then back end of the week, yeah, so it's mainly Wednesday that we're looking out for. Is it mainly Wednesday? Yeah. But 7, so it's kind of like maybe later in the day, FMC. Okay, so like I said, if you're working towards like a midweek reversal, maybe we get price coming up high for Monday, Tuesday, then you could get a reaction out of that IRL there and trade towards these lows. Equally, if you're looking for price to just react more from this low and take up more structural highs, you may want it to work a little bit lower first, potentially come into this fair value gap here, because obviously technically, I mean not technically, it depends on how you look, but the lower time frame you go, this will probably be a high, create a new low, change your character, retest, and now you're creating a new structure upwards. saying that, obviously you've got this nice fair value gap on the hourly too here, and if you were looking at the change day delivery, you'd be looking really from like there. So anything kind of coming from here, you could easily see a reaction off as well. I don't think you will. I think there's much more of this as a target, to be honest with you. So I'd rather price almost went higher Monday, Tuesday, and then worked lower rest of week. Obviously, we've got the war happening in Iran, so a little bit hard to know how that obviously affects everything. At the moment, it looks like DXY is almost strengthening off that, which is strange, but not that strange probably, because I'd imagine they're benefiting almost from it to a degree. Obviously not. I don't know about it too much. I'm not gonna comment too deeply, obviously, off of it. But yeah, in terms of why that's reacted like that, I have obviously no idea. So we'll see obviously what the news comes out with that, and obviously how it's generally affecting the dollar. Obviously, when trading, let's have a look at last week. We had two break-even positions. Really should have done. I ended up having a loss last week. Well, I should have had a break-even, but my fault. I was on a call straight after the live. We've had two trades where straight after the live, it basically went to back to break-even. So we had this trade, which is obviously against bias, overall bias, but there's quite a few other things that was in its favour. So we had a PLY, mid-time frame wise, maybe even higher time frame wise. Impulsive change of character. The only things that went against it was a 6 sweep. You had price obviously working away from the overall target. However, you did have a low volume consolidating Asian range, so it did make sense. And like I said, I think when I was in this trade, it wasn't like a class A by any means, just because we had obviously it was against overall direction, but where we reacted to create this massive shift upwards didn't really make much sense either. I know it obviously did play from this low here, but there's not much, in my opinion, that would be tradable from here. Maybe you could have traded it once it closed above these highs, or maybe above this high, but for me, there wouldn't really be much execution point from here, especially bearing in mind it's a low volume Asian range. This was quite hard to catch, even though it was quite obvious bias in terms of like the RL to ERL playing out. So you could have taken I don't know, like I said, I would have much rather price took out the low first, and then you got an execution model, standard model to go take out the highs and work towards the ERL, but that didn't happen. So for me, I was kind of hoping price continue lower. Now, this was the point that I came off the live trading at 9, like around this time. So it worked back up. I should have already moved stops break even, because why it didn't really need to test again. There's not really any reason for it to test one more time before price coming back down and obviously working back towards the low. I don't see why it would have necessarily needed to tap into this high one more time. So for me, that should have really been a break even, but I took a loss. But it wasn't a super high quality trade anyways, because it was against bias really. Then we'd taken RERL, and you could have traded again a 6 sweep. So notice how generally these are weaker. And this is where if I were you guys when trading the 6 sweep, I'd almost go break even a little bit sooner. So here we had to change a character again. Obviously, this is just standard mech for you guys in woke. Go from here to the high. On from here. And a 2R. Actually got relatively close to winning this position. It didn't quite play out. So this trade, again, I think I said it was like a C+. What was there going for it? So you're coming like out of an order block here. Now what put me off of this a little bit is that when in the trade, I started to realize that price on the DXY hadn't, like, there was obviously the new day opening gap. We were acting here, and the new day opening gap was just above it. So it started to really put me off the position the way I looked at it. Also, we had the IRL here, so you'd expect price to at least retrace and come into this at some point, whether it be like later, obviously this week, or even Friday. It wouldn't be weird for it to come up and tap, and obviously it did in the end. So when I started to realize that, we can actually tapped into that, and we were almost like reacting here, which although it did look like an impulsive area with an order block, with the new week opening gap there, it didn't really make like loads of sense to me. So I just kind of left it. at that, kept it break even, which I don't always do, to be fair. I don't know about you guys. Did many of you guys go break even there when you were trading, or did many of you just not trade at all? Didn't trade. Did it on Friday. Took a loss on the other trade. First break even trade on Friday. And trade last week. Shorted. Yeah, I barely traded, to be fair, but not on important accounts anyways. Continuation Friday. Did a move to break even. Closed it early. Huge trades you mentioned for me last week. Cool. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't much last week at all. I don't know if there will be much next week. I'm going to stop hoping that it's always going to be a nice week as much. I think in terms of direction, obviously we can't just trade against trend until we've already got loads of proof that we shouldn't be. It would have been nicer maybe for a close beneath these lows on the weekly. Obviously, the price coming back up does leave us in a little bit of a difficult spot. Technically, if price just started working straight towards these lows, I wouldn't be surprised to a degree that we could just get a really bearish week from here, because obviously we've got a clear target here, and we have technically tapped into some sort of IRL. So it could definitely work towards these lows, and we could really get that distribution phase of the AMD like start to really play out. Super aggressive now. Obviously, when you look at the weekly, we've got this accumulation, manipulation up here, and distributed downwards. Obviously, I keep saying the distribution phase is the most aggressive phase, so wouldn't be a massive. Yeah, sure. I'd be lying if I said I knew how that affected it. Like how obviously that fundamental side of things really affects it that much. To be honest with you, obviously it does. I just wouldn't be able to tell you if it's bullish or bearish. If you get what I'm saying. I don't really. Yeah, feel like I'm not gonna pretend that I do know. So I'm just gonna stick to just standard technicals as I would, or the economical fundamentals I can trace to a degree. But yeah. I feel like when I try and read into like what's going to happen from this economic event or this thing that Trump said or this thing that Elon said, I just find myself like marrying some sort of idea of what's going to happen. I just rather just almost keep it more technical to a degree, even though obviously fundamentals are what drives technicals. So in terms of what I'm looking for, like I said, for me the best outcome would be we work a little bit higher into this IRL, and then price distributes downwards. Now we have technically shifted back bearish to a degree on the hourly, so you could easily not get as higher reaction. We've reacted really nicely out of the new week opening gap, and even like I said, slightly tapped into that fair value gap. So you could even just get a retracement to there and then instantly working towards the lows, and it could just be a super bearish week, and we might just have a very small high of the week on Monday, and price just works lower and lower and lower and lower as kind of price looks more and more bearish, obviously from that expansion phase in the AMD in the distribution. So yeah, that wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. But saying that, it would be nice to maybe get a bit of a deeper retracement. Maybe not, to be fair. We have closed pretty much, well, we haven't closed beneath these lows yet, but we've got quite a lot of distribution this way, so it does somewhat make sense. The target seemed pretty obvious in terms of the draws. Bullish outcome would probably be that we take out these lows, so previous week lows first, and then work towards and use it as like a liquidity suit to work higher. That would be like my bullish outcome. Now I'm probably like 70-30 bearish, in the fact that I'd rather trade with trend at the moment, even though we have to take an ERL. If you're trading towards the IRL, like if you're trading ERL to IRL, I don't really see where you're necessarily targeting. Maybe this weird bit of price action here, but on let's say the weekly, for example, like there's no IRL, like there's no ERL to IRL because there's no IRL. On just the weekly time frame, for example, whereas we had a really clear one last week, which played out super nice. This one, you could maybe, if this was like a flat body high or something, that would be a nice target, but it's not. This, don't think it is a flat body high. I think there is a small wick. Yeah, it's just weird price action. Here we've got a flat body high though. Really bullish outcome is that we come and retest this. But I don't necessarily think we'd need to yet. you've got obviously that big gap there as well. So just keep that in mind. Now, obviously, all of this is really pointless without an actual execution model. So just make sure to classify your trades to the highest quality. You're matching what you're wanting to happen for that daily profile, weekly profile, with your favored execution model. So, for example, if you just trade reversals, then matching a reversal with your bias from a POI that you're interested in. So let's say you're interested in this fair value gap. You're bearish on the week, then a high quality trade for you would be price coming up to these highs. Maybe accumulating here, maybe this is an Asian range, comes to this high, then you get a change of character to the downside in London session. This is your best trade of the week, if you get what I'm saying. A short from here, it's your standard model, and it matches your bias, and it's got your POI in mind, so you can maybe open up the risk reward. Obviously, probably wouldn't trade in 9R, but you do get my point. Like that's your best type of position, is when your bias matches your favorite style of execution. Obviously, your execution alone should give you a good win rate, should give you a good profitability. But adding in your higher time frame, adding in these POIs, adding in your idea for the day, for that day and for that week, and if it plays into that puzzle a little bit, then that's like the ideal scenario, if you get what I'm saying. If you get me. I don't know if my stream's still working. Let's have a look. Oh, there's loads of people. Probably didn't see me. But yeah, that is pretty much. Okay, I thought I'd do a little bit of YouTube just because I've not done loads. Cheers for the live, Rob. Got to dip as at work. How are you, mate? Have a good rest of shift. But yeah, well done everyone on last week. You guys did insane. For those on the YouTube that want to see some cool results, if this wants to work. Shout out you, man. The Scroll man himself passing a fair bit of funding. Keaton, 2 years of trading and nothing passed. Joined Work Effects 2 weeks ago and passed a phase 1. Crazy stuff. GURPS, big up GURPS, got his 100k into phase 2. This was all like the last day. Louis, 200k into phase. Oh no, you got 200k fully funded, mental. Let's go. Pay up for Max. But yeah, super. Big congrats for all of you guys. 200k into phase 2 for Dan. Okay. Anyways, you get my point. You guys are smashing it. So big congrats to all of you guys. I think there's, like I said, this week looks, in my eyes, not too bad. I think it could play out really nice. I think you've got quite a clear target. It just depends how much it might want to obviously take out maybe some of these draws, for example. It might want to work a little bit higher than I'm saying. If that's the case, then I'll just be probably wrong on bias, and that's obviously just going to be on me. But I do think, obviously, like I said, I think the more obvious targets are these lows. I'd be surprised if we end the week and haven't taken up those lows. I might just be completely wrong. But that's what I kind of see happening. I'm not planning to say that. Never works out well, just no executions at all. Is there any questions that you guys want me to go through? Anyone in the YouTube chat as well? You're saying big fan from India, #1 trader, appreciate this live, you good? We still trade London Open when you're in Dubai? Yeah, of course, it's 3 hours ahead, so it'll work out better for me. How is this war? I can't tell you. I have no idea how the war's going to affect the dollar. I can't lie to you. I probably will do some harsh research into it, or see what you guys think about it from your research. But yeah, you're going to try a QT account? Yeah, probably at some point. I've noticed a massive shift in the community now, taking higher quality trades rather than not the best of quality ones. Yeah, I think it's just obviously a lot of people joining. You need to set them with a base when you're learning, just to get them comfortable with executions, comfortable risking properly and profitable initially. And then obviously when you become the better trader, you're able to notice why a quality trade is higher quality than a lower quality trade. Obviously, using higher time frame, using your discretion, and then aligning that with a model. So you guys are starting to get that, which is really good, especially the newer people. But yeah, you guys are smashing it for how long you guys have been in, which is insane. But yeah, I mean, if you don't have too many questions, I won't go over much more. Relatively short one this week, I guess. I think it's relatively obvious where we're going to be going. I might be completely wrong. Monthly. Oh, I was saying we're reaction to a monthly fair value gap. I think someone said that. Why can't Asia hit or low? Can't keep it as to nowadays high or low? Why isn't Asia's not reversed nicely for like 2 weeks? But it was doing it previously in the year. Trump has obviously made Asian sessions really large just because he's announcing tariffs and stuff like that, or was announcing that stuff very late in the day. So that's just kind of how it goes. But in terms of the model, like if you're able to align it with good quality discretion, then generally you won't miss out. Not miss out, but you won't miss the good trades, and you're probably just like trading less frequently at the moment. Because if you're just trying to trade like pure mech or pure London reversal and like models and like times when they've got like huge Asian sessions, like here for example, and here and here, but if you look at the size of these Asian sessions, they're massive. I don't know what I'm doing on this. Why? And oh, it's sad to see you, but I wish you were here. Here, you had 80 pip one. I think we had a 100 pip one recently. Yeah, here. I mean, Friday was a 100 pip one, I'm pretty sure. Or close enough. So that's why I was a bit surprised with this day. Even though it had a very clear draw, I think there was some sort of POI here as well that I was trading out of. So I was expecting at least a Asian low, which is what it is. But yeah, guys, I think obviously for those in the Discord, I'll catch you tomorrow morning for the live trading session. Whether there'll be a position or not, unsure, because Mondays usually, especially when there's news later in the week, a little bit slower and more to set the tone. But I think the tone's relatively. I've got a tone in mind. I'll go through it way more in the Discord tomorrow. I'm feeling super allergic tonight, so I can't. I'm struggling a little bit. But yeah, I hope we all get not another good week. We didn't have a bad week last week, but not loads of opportunity. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night as well. No stress, guys. I'll see you later. Bye-bye. You know it's hard to see you, but I wish you were here. Cool. Short one today. Short one. Is there any questions you guys got in the YouTube for me quickly? If not, I'll leave it at that and let anyone that wants to watch it later. Don't know how quick these streams are, because I feel like you guys react to what I'm saying really late. You feel me? No GU, not massively. GU is very similar to EU, where it's at right now. There's not much divergence between them, I don't believe. GU daily, creating high highs. Is there a clear draw? Geez, actually not that awful. You could trade from. You can trade from this fair value gap, trade the IRL to IRL. On weekly, I actually quite like the look of that. That's quite good. Probably should have noticed that. Hello, Ben. Don't hate that idea, actually. Something like this would make good sense. But I'd imagine Monday works away from where our overall direction is, or we get a reversal Monday, and the rest of the week respects Monday's high or low. But that's just my idea. Oh. Just kidding. Right, I'm probably gonna go, guys. Good to speak to you on the stream. I'll speak to you all very soon. I've got a video coming out probably. I might post one tomorrow. Bye.